Hi, everyone. This is Ed Lynch from Surfing Baseball. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the winter meetings, what they are, what they represent, what they used to be like, what I hear they're like now, what you're trying to accomplish at the winter meetings. Winter meetings are an annual get-together for everybody in the baseball industry. That's what it used to be like back in the day in the 90s and the 2000s. And think of it as like the Democratic National Convention or the Republican National Convention. I mean, everybody gets together in one spot. And back in the day when the National Association was a separate entity, they used to invite all their people to come to the winter meetings. We have a neutral site. You know, we went to Nashville, we went to Vegas. We went to a lot of different places, and it was a lot of fun. And if you're a minor league general manager, you might get to sit down and at dinner with the major league general manager of the team that you're affiliated with. And I did that a lot. I mean, I used that as an opportunity to take care of our affiliates. I remember in 1999 going to the winter meetings, and I got Sammy Sosa to sign 7 or 8 jerseys for me, and I put them in a nice case, and we shipped them to, say, Nashville, and we had a dinner, and I presented the owner or the representative of the owner for every minor league franchise with this gift. It was a framed Sammy Sosa jersey when he was the most famous athlete on the planet, basically. I mean, here's a guy that was sitting at the State of the Union address with Hillary Clinton while Bill Clinton's talking about him, I mean, I sat with Bill Clinton in Wrigley Field in June 30th night for, frickin' 4 hours, but I digress. Anyway, but it was a time for all of us to get together, and it was a lot of fun. And, the owners used to be paranoid in the old days about, geez, we're all getting together. We're giving the agents the spotlight, and we're going to, encourage huge spending, and which kind of a silly thing to do. Why are you going to turn down the opportunity to focus the public's attention during football season on your sport? I mean, come on. And so it was a great time. It's starting tomorrow, and it's starting in Nashville, Tennessee at the Grand Ole Opry Hotel, which is about a 10-acre indoor hotel. I remember going there and I forget what year it was. We had a suite there. I didn't have an entourage. I didn't have an assistant GM. I didn't have anybody really. So it was me and, farm director and scouting director. And it was the 3 of us. And we'd be in a room and we're talking strategy, and we're trying to, see what interest is out there. So I would say we have a couple of scouts there. I had a couple of major league scouts. Guys did a great job. Keith Champion, people like that, and I sent them down to the lobby, and hey, find out what you can find out. And they come back and say things, but it was very primitive back then, very primitive, because we didn't have social media. I mean, nowadays you just go on social media and GMs will come on and say who they're looking for and what they're looking for, and we'll entertain offers for this player and that player, and I think that's freaking brutal. I mean, these guys must have grown up playing Stratomatic, where these players are just cards. They're not, they're people. So when you sit there as a GM of Team X and you're saying, I'm talking to Team Y about trading, Joey Adams, whatever. What do you think that does to this kid's family? It's coming up on Christmas. You might have kids. Daddy, do we really have to go to Toronto or wherever? So a lot of it back then was very closed. It was very word of mouth stuff, and we were pretty much very secretive, if that's the word. But we respected the privacy of our players, and we respected the privacy of our clubs and our owners. We just not did it in secret, but you don't see Apple and Google out there in a public forum, talking about any negotiations on mergers or anything like that. So, but it was a good time. And then, the Major League Baseball, and I think rightfully so, took over the National Association. They reduced the number of teams from 160 to 120. And I'm a full supporter of that, because I played at some of those ballparks, and I was a minor league director when we had teams in places that were absolutely horrendous. And I don't want to piss off the people in Waterloo, Iowa, but let's face it, it didn't deserve to have a minor league affiliate. Now, I'm going to get hate letters from Iowa, so be it. Anyway, it's a really good time to meet with other teams. It used to be, I don't think it's like that way now. I think now with just the major leagues there, it's just going to be a lot of hype about, Ohtani and Yamamoto and the biggest free agents and where they're going. Frankly, I don't really know what the reason is that people fly from all over the country to one spot when they can do it online. It's sad, but that's my feeling. But, they announce certain things. Tomorrow they're going to announce who's getting into the Hall of Fame. My vote's with Jim Leyland, great manager. Have a funny story about Jim Leyland. 1986, we were playing the Pirates in Pittsburgh. I was on the DL. I'm on the bench. I shouldn't have been on the bench. We had a fight. Rick Rhoden is throwing what we all thought was like cut balls and stuff. Bill Robinson, first base coach, hitting coach. Those guys are fanatic about their hitters, and the only reason they make an out is because the pitcher's cheating. Of course, it can't be them. It's got to be the pitcher. So the inning ends, and Rick Rhoden, I think the last pitch was a strikeout. And back then, the catchers didn't catch the ball and throw it to a fan. They rolled it back towards the mound. So now Rick Rhoden picks the ball up, and he's going to walk towards the dugout with the ball in his hand. And Bill Robinson walks over and says, hey, give me that ball, MF, or whatever he said. Bill didn't curse. He was a religious guy, God rest his soul. But anyway, we all came out of the dugout. We're all out there and pushing and shoving. And I got a knee. I just had surgery on my knee now. I shouldn't have been out there. And like an idiot, I got a jacket on with Lynch across my back. So, on the video, the commissioner's looking at, there's no doubt that's me. But anyway, the reason I'm telling this story about Jim Leyland, he's the manager of the Pirates. Now, Rich Donnelly, my manager in AAA, is a third base coach. Now, we're standing out there and pushing and shoving, and I see Jim in front of me. All of a sudden, somebody pushes me, and I'm falling over on the guy behind me. And so I just reach out. I got scared. I grabbed Jim Leyland. He was the NFL. I would have got called for a horse collar. I grabbed him by the shirt to break my fall, and his head hit that turf like a pineapple hitting the frickin' pavement. And he got up and started screaming at me, and I just backed off and walked in the dugout. And then after the game, I called over to Rich Donnelly, and I took a shower. I walked over there. Rich was my manager in AAA, and I apologized to Jim Leyland. He'll remember that. But anyway, I'm all over the place. But the winter meetings are a time for everybody to get together. It's time to reward your really ridiculously underpaid people and let them fly in somewhere, and they can, walk around with a badge on, so they're part of a team. But the other thing it's become is a job seekers place. I remember when I was a GM, a veteran GM told me, hey, just put a cell phone up to your ear, even if you're not talking to anybody, and just race through, because people will be throwing resumes at you and trying to get a job. And I don't blame them. But I had no money. With the Cubs, believe it or not, I couldn't hire anybody, which was very sad. I should have been able to hire an assistant GM. I should have been able to hire staff of people. But in Wrigley Field, we had no space. We had no office space. Plus, the people that I worked for were very frugal. And it's sad. But anyway, the winter meetings are a very good time. A lot of news. They're going to try to make a lot of news out of nothing until the big signings come through. And then, when Ohtani signs with the Dodgers, that's my prediction. I'm probably wrong. But if I was him, I would want to be closer to Japan. I want to be in a community with a huge amount of Asian people. And I want to be with a team that's won the last 9 or 10 consecutive division titles, so you're going to pitch in the postseason. He wants to pitch in the postseason. So with the Dodgers, he will get that opportunity. So that's going to be the number one thing. And Yamamoto, I know nothing about him. I might have something to offer when I talk to some Asian scouts that I know. Great amount, 2 to 8. I'm sure he's exceptional. So there's going to be some major signings. I like Cody Bellinger. was talking about his dad. Love his mom and dad. Great people. Went to Hamilton High School here. We worked him out when I was with Toronto. Great kid. Had a great year. I believe in him. I just hope he doesn't get back into that uppercut stroke, level his swing, and great athlete. Can play first above average, can play right field above average. So I hope my editor can get a couple of minutes out of this, but I'm hoping to tie this into talking to Bob Nightengale from the winter meetings to see what's going on. And so that's it.